My name is Dustin and I am the Phantom Traveler, and I want to welcome you to the Iguazu National Park here in Argentina. We're going on a river cruise and a tour around the entire park today. Should be an outstanding time, so let's see what's in store. Come on. The Parque Nationale Iguazu is a massive, nearly 200,000 acre park here at the border of Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. The main attraction are the Iguazu Falls. It was described as the Niagara Falls of South America, but everybody said it makes Niagara Falls look like a puddle. I'll be excited to see if that holds true.
Our tour today is broken into 3 parts. First, we'll trace our way down to the Iguazu River and enjoy the grand adventure getting splashed. Then we'll take a train ride to the northwestern part of the park, where we will see one of the massive falls, the Devil's Throat. Lastly, we'll make our way through the central part of the park and visit the tops of each of the falls, hoping to get some great panoramic photos.
We're actually going to get in a boat and go under the falls, which is pretty awesome. It's part of a grand adventure tour here at the Jungle Booth, and this is going to be a lot of fun. This is how we're going to start our morning, going on a 2-hour river adventure. These trucks actually will take everybody down to the Zodiac loading zone, and we will embark on what will hopefully be a very wet adventure.
Gracias. Les voy a pedir, ¿sí? Primero, antes que nada, los que están a los laterales tengan cuidado con las ramas que se pueden llegar a acercar, ¿sí? Y vamos a permanecer sentados con las extremidades dentro del vehículo. Good morning, welcome to the great adventure. This is the first part of the tour, it's the dry part. Please take care with the branch and stay on the left side next to the Argentinian flag. Muchísimas gracias. Que la pasen genial, buena ducha, thank you, have a nice shower, enjoy, see you soon, gracias familia, nos vemos pronto.
So this is a bag to put all of our stuff in, stay dry. And here's where they give you a life preserver, just in case.
Hola, buen día. Gracias.
Once we left the dock, the captain took off like crazy, and you can't really gauge the speed here, but we are cooking on the river right now. It was an outstanding time. You can see everyone's hair is just blowing like crazy. No amount of narration is going to make this moment as impactful as it will appear through the images. So sit back and enjoy this amazing grand adventure.
Maybe we'll go over the falls. awesome. So we rode on the boat, as you saw. I tried to catch some really good photos and videos going down the river. It gets to a certain point where there's so much mist, and my camera is not rated for that level of water. I guess I need to investigate a GoPro. So if anybody's got a suggestion for a great GoPro for this type of use case, drop a comment for me. But I switched over to my phone. It was in like this plastic bag. I'll show you what the bag looks like. It's kind of like this, and it was getting foggy, and so I'm not quite sure what footage I actually got off of my iPhone, but the experience was awesome. And the captain basically asked if we were having fun. Everybody screamed, so he backed up and went into the first fall a second time. So if you're in the Iguazu National Forest, this is definitely one of the to-do things. One last tip. If you go on the falls, you need to make sure that you are prepared to be thoroughly soaked. I am completely soaked head to toe. The only thing that keeps my hat dry and my shoes and socks dry is the fact that I brought a wet bag. So you'll want to think about that. I'll put a link to the one I brought with me in the description. You will be completely soaked. You need to understand that. Don't listen to anybody who says that it's just okay. You're taking a bath in the warmish waters of the Iguazu River. We also saw some views of where we're going to be later today. There's a couple of crossings up by and bridges up by the top of the falls that we're going to go to. So let's go take a look at that now. We stopped in here and had some ice cream as a quick snack, and then we're going to go on to the train. Hopefully this train ride will provide the breeze I need to finish drying off. So I reapplied my sunscreen just before we came out here, and put on this little handkerchief here to give myself just a little bit extra. But now we're moving into a little more wild of an area.
You know, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. You know that, right? An UNESCO site, so it's protected by the entire world. And it's a place where, believe it or not, there is a lot of energy. Yeah? We were talking about the Guaraníes this morning. Of course, the Guaraníes are the native people of this area, the owner of this area, yes? And for them, this place was sacred. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they are animists, they are really spiritual people, they believe in many goddesses, and they believe that they can share the land with the ancestors and with the, how do you say, future souls, something like that. So when the conquerors arrived here, God, Yanderu Papatenon, the god of the Guaraníes, blocked and protect the portal between the natural world, this one, and the spiritual world.
Ahead there you can see the Argentinian flag, and of course there's a billion people there, so we're just going to slow roll it here, and hopefully some of that energy will clear out before we get up there. Okay, so this is a little bit of a loop that they let you walk around the falls here. You can see that folks are lined up all the way around there. This is incredible. Our tour guide said that this is a sacred place to the native people here of Iguazu area. She advised us to go around, take all of our photos, and then to make one more trip in silence and try to see if we could actually bridge a connection spiritually and try to find ways to close doors and open new ones. So I'm going to go around and then I'm going to see how I feel when I get back on the other side. Okay, so I just completed my second loop around the falls, and I gotta say, it was actually a really interesting moment. You know, I spent a lot of time just thinking thoughts and, you know, just reflecting on life as it is and things that are good, things that I would like to see changed. And, you know, I made that little loop and cycle, and I'm feeling very hopeful and optimistic now. So who knows? I wouldn't say that I had like that moment exactly, but I'm feeling very positive coming off of that second loop. So let's see how it goes. Now that I've gone a couple of loops around the Devil's Throat, I can say when you're at the edge there, you really need to find yourself a spot and just stand there and wait for it to open up. It's really busy. People all want to get that perfect Instagrammable selfie. And so there's a lot of tries and attempts. There's a lot of kids here as well. So just find the spot at the edge, wait, and, you know, something might happen. In fact, actually, there were some river swallows, I think what they're called. These swallows, they all flocked together, and they were making these really cool tornado-like flying paths around the falls. And I guess that's how they look for food. I just waited, and magically that just kind of happened. So just get your spot and be patient. You'll definitely get the shots you want. You just have to wait. One more tip here as we're walking away from the falls. If you bring sensitive camera equipment, you need to be ready for the mists. There's no splashes like there were on the river cruise that we went on earlier today, but there's lots of mist. So if your camera equipment is especially susceptible to water, you got to really be careful. Man, so while we were walking, all of a sudden the sky opened up and we had a little bit of a shower here. Our guide has said that in Iguazu, if it's not raining now, it will later. And she came true. This reminds me a lot of actually the weather in the afternoons in summer in Florida where I'm from. It would open up, the skies would open up for just a little bit, and then it would rain for like 10 minutes and then you'd see rainbows and move on. Here's another different view where you can see a little bit of the sun is out. The rain is still trickling down just a smidge. It'll stop in a minute or two. It can rain here at any time, so you got to be on the lookout. When it rains, these become extremely slippery. I almost busted my butt. So if you're coming through Iguazu Falls and you happen to be walking on any of these, whether it be this one or the ones over towards the Devil's Throat, be very careful. These are super, super slippery. You don't want to have an injury in the middle of a jungle. So now we can start to see some of the falls that we looked at in the distance. You can see the falls from there. I can tell that we're going to be going for quite a bit further here. We're going to get an even better view of these falls, some beautiful panoramas. So this is the first time we can actually see the boats that we were riding in. You can see those big Zodiacs down there on the water. They're actually coming in to the falls here. But yes, this is right where we were on the water earlier today. And these are breathtaking. I was talking a little bit back about how amazing it is how trees stand up against the weight of the river. Now, there's not a tremendously strong current. Look at this guy here. He's just hooked onto a rock, spreading out, but he's growing tall, and it looks like he's intent on staying. Apparently, this bridge got washed out in 2014, if you can believe it, and it's basically left here to be reclaimed by nature. It's all twisted. It's amazing to think about the force of the river, and it's easy to understand when you look at the current. I mean, that is just impossible speed. I would love it. And then of course it crests across and goes right down the Salto Baseto that we were just standing on. If you look back on the corner there, you can see the area where we were just So we're actually crossing this fall here, and man, that water is moving quick. Still, let me remind again, if you're this far in the video, these metal grates are very slippery when it rains, so make sure that you're careful. This is the other side of Salto Bosete. Honestly, it's mesmerizing. Every time I come to these places of natural wonder, I always wonder what the first people who laid eyes on this felt like. Whether they saw it from below or above, it just must really have made a massive impression upon them. And I think about the locals and the Devil's Throat. They called that a sacred place. It's really easy to understand why a place like this would be considered sacred. This is a freshwater river. It's got food, it's got your water for survival. There's so much that the locals would take from the actual river. It feeds the animals that you use for your diet. I mean, there's so many positives that come from this much water. How often can you stand in a video and be at the middle of a full rainbow? Look at that guy. Here's another rainbow. Everything's leading to this one big view from Salto San Martin, which is probably the largest fall here because it spans not only that side, but as you come around, this side as well. This is incredible. Looking back, you can see the falls we've already visited. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world and one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I mean, who would not want to be able to wake up to that in the background? This is called the healing tree, which is always found at the edge of river, and native people used the sap from this to basically fill wounds and to treat other maladies. And so people come by ceremonially and basically touch this tree. So thank you, tree. Thank you for healing.
Yeah, noise. So we have done. See, the only exception, Macuco. That you need a whole day to do that. And I will tell you something. A few weeks ago it was closed because the puma had their babies there. Oh. Yes. Then I will show you some pictures.
And just like that, our extensive tour of Iguazu National Park has come to an end. This is a fantastic place, and I would strongly recommend anyone in Argentina to visit. If you're passing by in Buenos Aires, it's a quick 90-minute flight up to Iguazu, and this is an amazing full-day adventure. So, and I'll link to the tour company that we worked with, as well as some of the other things I've mentioned in this video down below. If you like our tour of Iguazu and want to see some more about waterfalls, click here. If, on the other hand, you're looking for something a little cooler and you want to see some of our Antarctic footage, click over here. So long, folks. We'll see you next time.